Today we're gonna do a little bit of paint cleaning on this car. You can see that there's like that nice dusty coat on there, and of course, like anything that gets on it will remove some of that dust. It's just the top layer of the single stage, because Volvo did not use a base clear back in the 80s. And it does bring a little bit of shine out when you do that. However, with the whole car being in this kind of ugly, dusty, perpetual, dirty state, it does make it look a little meh. So we'll bring out a little gloss today just by a nice wash. And then you're not supposed to do this in full sunlight, but then again, this is a couple $100 car. It's not really gonna hurt it terribly, so we will put a little bit of wax protectant on there. Actually, what I have been using lately is NuFinish. NuFinish is really nice. So let's get some glam shots all around. We can do comparison shots before and after of each part of the car. You can see there is some shine that wants to show up here in the doors, but you can see the contrast. I shouldn't use a red towel, but the paint's just coming off because the sun is cooking it. See what I mean? So there's our side. Why don't we go all the way back here? Around the taillights. Let's make this a quick and dirty because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I've got to prepare for my next play. The soap we're using today is the Glamour, just regular auto wash. It was on sale at Pep Boys. We're not here to talk about soap. We're here to talk about Volvo's single stage paint. It's real dusty. It's real chalky over time. And if you've got a red color car or anything that's non-metallic, you'll notice exactly how it just sort of comes off on your fingers. If you were to clay bar the car, you would want to do it after at least 2 washes, or else your bar is just going to get filthy and you'd be flipping it over and over time after time. So we're going to be using a fancy little product today, which is the once-a-year car polish. It sounds too good to be true, but let's find out how that works. Boy, what a dirty car she was. Check this out. This is our rinse bucket, but just take a look at this. There's so much paint in here. You might think it's from the Mermaid, because you know how when you dye your hair red, the color tends to run. But no, this car just had such bad paint. As an example, I'll put a white towel in there and then we'll pull it out. Dang. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna evaporate all the water from this, and this is a new trick I learned. You evaporate 90% of the water, and then you take whatever's at the very bottom, and you mix it with paint thinner, put it in a spray can, and then spray it back onto the car. That should bring a lot of the color back on. Dudes, I'm just kidding with you. It's brown. I need to get my perfectly good red towel wet for this. Pretty good improvement, but it's still really dull. There's a lot more color we can bring out of here. I'm just absolutely in love with this color when it's wet. So if we can get that wet look back, that'd be great. The roof is still drying, actually. It's taken a while to dry. Wash and dry car, dampen applicator, apply sparingly to one area at a time with a circular motion. Let it dry to a haze, then wipe clean with a dry cloth, turning frequently. Don't use on vinyl, trim, or flat black painted or wood painted surfaces. Let's give it a go. Since it's a cheap car, I've just got some cheap rags to take care of this issue here. With a lot of other finishes, they tell you really gotta, put it on there and then buff it off. NuFinish does not want you to buff, it just wants you to wipe. But I found that I had pretty good results when I went over it 2 or 3 times, buffing in between. So we'll just do like a quick and dirty one on this to give you a good comparison. And just for fun, we'll split the hood in half. What makes NuFinish the most challenging is that it's got such a high chemical cocktail inside of it that as you apply it and it dries to a haze, when you start buffing it, you need to buff on a clean towel, because as soon as the towel that you're using gets dirty, it's gonna start streaking and smearing, and then once those streaks and smears are like fully dried and cured on your paint, it's gonna be really hard to get them off without reapplying more NuFinish, and therefore you have to go over the panel twice. I've also got a really bad habit of just using one hand. I use my right hand most of the time, so I think I'm gonna have to swap over to my left side so I can build a little bit of strength and try to get buff on both hands. I had to go over this side 3 times. I don't know if this is just the more sun-faded section, but it was nuts. Let's see if I can give you guys a good contrast here. So as I was talking earlier about those streaks coming through, you can see on this side here that the sun really just lived on this corner of the car. And every time you apply it, and it's not a smooth application, you get those nice streaks in there, you'd have to wipe it off, and you go, okay, let's do it again. So apply, reapply, rinse and repeat. Oh man, those dogs need to shut up. All right, we've got a little bit of sunlight left. The sun's getting pretty low there on the horizon, so I didn't have time to do the roof. I did half the hood for contrast. We can see it when the sun's back up tomorrow. And in the meantime, let's just walk around and look at the shine. Just look. Anywhere where there are streaks, that means that there's more red paint that needs to come out. Oxidized paint, chewed up paint. It's beautiful. Okay, as you look in the sunlight there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Those streaks right above the little red horny guy. Yeah. Now this stuff, NuFinish, it's not a wax. It's not a synthetic wax either. It's basically what I would call a chemical cocktail for your car. This stuff is just, it's powerful. It eats up a lot of whatever's on the surface of your paint. I don't even know how it's good for paint. I don't really know what's in it. So I shouldn't be, and the tricky thing is you need to kind of go over it a couple of times or else you're gonna get streaks. And if you're not flipping your towel to a clean side or your sock, you're gonna get streaks. That's just the nature of the beast here. But not bad. Now you're looking at that back door and you're wondering why it's not shiny. I can tell you why, because whoever repainted it didn't use the same quality paint that Volvo did back in the 80s. They probably just had some cheap single stage or maybe even some base clear, but yeah, they didn't even bother with a quality paint. And it looks like they carried that over to the back quarter panel here, which is why I couldn't get a lot of shine out of there. Now this stuff does eat a lot. This chemical is really strong. That's why I'm wearing gloves, because my hands are starting to feel really dry. And then it also leaves those swirl marks on places that aren't great. So if you really have problem areas like this, it would be better to cut and buff with an actual cutting compound or just repaint it and then worry about NuFinish. I think NuFinish would be great for people who are just trying to sell their cars and they want a quick gloss on it. The right side, almost halfway of the hood, I did. And you'll see the divide right there. Yeah, it's a pretty clear divide right here. It ain't very straight. I didn't tape it off or anything like that. But this is our best side here because I had to do each panel 3 times. This is the side that got a lot more sun. And the way I can tell is because these are black on the other side. They're painted black. And the stainless steel is showing through here. And of course, all this is faded out. This was the high sun area. That was the shady side. So this shady side got all the rust because the water didn't dry out as quickly with the sun on it. So that's the trade-off you're getting. I will say here that I applied this stuff in February when it was like a high of 50 degrees outside. I wouldn't do it in direct sunlight in warmer weather or else it'll dry quickly and streak very badly. Let's take a look at my Z4 because that's got half of the hood done with NuFinish and the other half not. You can see a pretty sharp divide right down the middle of it. The paint's really badly oxidized, so as much shine as you can get is a good thing, but I really got to cut through that and clear coat since this is a base clear. It's not a single stage. So, it's a great product. This was maybe a month ago that I did this on here, and sooner or later I'll do the whole car. I was a little skeptical of the product because of the strong chemical nature of it, but I'm pretty happy with it. And you know, the best part is it doesn't make this look like a clunker in my driveway anymore. It just looks like a clean college kid's car with a few love marks and some tacky stickers, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, we're 3 months later now. It still has a lot of shine left in it. The car's been dirty just because it's been raining and raining and raining and raining. And of course I did the rest of the half of the hood, so it's a clear line down the middle. Look at how the water forms. The droplets on the right side would coagulate. The droplets on the left still have this gross kind of streaming look to them. Still a lot of shine here. No shine in the back door, of course. We never got any out of there. And then here, Still pretty shiny for being dirty. Dude, this NuFinish stuff is really great. So the point of this has been to keep the car looking decent while it's parked here on the street so that nobody complains. And I'm charging the battery every day, keeping that topped off. I got that from Scotty Kilmer. There's your little trivia. Anyway, makes me feel pretty good. All right, I gotta go sing and dance tonight. I've got rehearsal for the next musical, so enjoy this video, watch it again, watch some of the other ones. I'll put the link down below for the playlist on this car, as well as some of the repair stuff I've been doing on it. But once in a while, it's good to do some cosmetic work. Always makes me feel good to have a pretty car and a reliable car. Thanks for watching.